Thank you, Renee, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar, Accelerated Learning Approaches, a focus on apprenticeships. The webinar follows up from our Accelerated Learning Approaches series. We designed this in response to participants' interest in learning more about programs that are implementing different approaches. This webinar today focuses on building pre-apprenticeship programs and apprenticeships. Today, you'll have the opportunity to listen to our panelists, after which we will go into breakout rooms where you'll have the opportunity to interact with our panelists in a smaller group setting so that you can engage in deeper inquiry and share your experiences as well. As Renee noted, we will be monitoring the chat for questions, and we do have time in the breakout rooms dedicated to getting questions answered. I'm going to do a quick introduction, both of myself and my teammate here today. I'm Lisa Lefevre. I'm a senior program associate at West Ed. I've been with West Ed for about 10 years. And Blair?
Hi, I'm Blair Wilson-Toso, and I was with West Ed for several years, and I am now continuing the work just on my own schedule. So I'm delighted to be here and be able to participate in continuing on and looking at accelerated learning approaches.
Great. And I see people are also putting in introductions and chats. Thank you very much. Take a moment to do that. Introduce yourself, your name, your role, your organization. We always love to also take a moment to recognize the Chancellor's Office CAPE team, Myra Diaz and Cora Rainey, and the CDE team, Dr. Carolyn Zachary, Diana Batista, Neil Kelly, who all support this work and ensure everyday quality adult education. I think Myra's on the line if Myra wants to say a quick hello.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Thank you all for being here. We're excited to hear from this wonderful panel. Thank you.
And of course, we always thank SCOE TAP. They have helped to make today's event possible. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Holly. You're all always flawless in your support and organization. So with that, I think we're going to quickly go over the next slide, which is an agenda, and I'm going to pass it to Blair.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Today, we're really going to look at apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships as they move more closely into the arena of adult education. So just to make sure we're sort of on the same page, pre-apprenticeship is a type of work-based programming that helps learners explore and bridge to a career pathway. So it's an approach and it provides structures that incorporates specific skills and content knowledge alongside academic and language skills. And it helps a learner decide whether the career for them is for them prior to making a full commitment to an apprenticeship program, which can carry on for quite a long time. And then usually if the learner chooses to continue into that occupation, then pre-apprenticeship supports the garnering of skills and knowledge and language that will support them in being successful in this apprenticeship, which is much more rigorous. While the apprenticeship is really about working with an occupation tied to a job, and it combines that work and training opportunities that allow a learner to earn an income while also preparing for a living wage job in a particular industry, which may be immediate or it might be further down the road. So what it does is an apprenticeships also help to eliminate the need to find additional work and figure out how to pay for education or training programs prior to working. So it really supports adult learners in making that move and continuing along their educational pathway along with their career pathway. Today, we're really lucky. That's it on the formal presentation. We're going to move after this to a panel, which Michelle Castanon from Delta College, San Joaquin Delta College will be presenting, and John from Citrus College Adult Education Consortium will both be presenting on either apprenticeship, pre-apprenticeship, and how they've moved towards using that kind of structure. So the way we'll structure this is we'll have them come on camera. I'll be asking them a couple of questions, and then we will move into breakout rooms where in a smaller community, we will have the chance to interact directly with each of the presenters. We'll do this by doing one room with for half the time with one presenter, and then the presenters will switch, and then you can ask other questions or the same questions of the second presenter. So thanks very much. And any questions before we get started? Perfect. Then I am going to ask Michelle and John, if you'll come off camera, please. And I will ask each one of you. Michelle, I think we'll kick off with you. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to introduce yourselves and then also just tell us a little bit about your pre-apprenticeship or your apprenticeship and what program and what compelled you to start these programs.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. My name is Michelle Castanon. It's great to be with you today. I am the program manager for our CTE and Workforce Development Center here at Delta College. And with that, I oversee all of the employer engagement and work-based learning for our students on campus, as well as supporting our San Joaquin County WorkNet that is located in our office. Our main focus is we do have the internship program, apprenticeship program, and the workforce services here, as well as job developers to support our students as they're going through their academic journey here on our campus. So they're taking what they're learning in the classroom, and we're helping them to provide that hands-on real-world experience training. For us with the apprenticeship program, we are actually currently working on building some pre-apprenticeship. However, we have had a long-standing relationship with many employers, industry and unions for our standard apprenticeship program that are registered with the state and the federal levels. So we've been very excited to be the local education agency for many different employers. We've been fortunate to also host the first high school apprenticeship program here in the state with the San Joaquin County Office of Education and their ARCH program. We have programs also including incumbent workers and also large name industry members. But we also look to have a variety of non-traditional trade as well. So we're excited to have a good balance. The apprenticeship program for us really came forward because we're looking to help close that workforce gap in middle skilled occupations and the incentive of learn as you earn model. So it allows our students and clients to really receive the income provided from the moment that they start the internship and create the opportunities for them to gain that occupational career pathway and to have the sustainable living ability here in our local area. We are excited that we're also, as students are going through and earning their licensure with the federal or state, but they are also receiving college level certificates or degrees to assist with that continued mobility. We've been fortunate that our industry really does know our career education programs here on our campus. We have a great state-of-the-art training facilities for those apprenticeships coming through, and the ease of Delta College with the process for the industry members has really helped our program become successful.
Super, thank you. John, I'm gonna turn it over to you just
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Blair, for inviting me. I am the program director at the Citrus College Adult Ed Consortium. I am also my day job is the assistant principal at Monrovia Community Adult School. And I also do work with other regional consortia in the San Gabriel Valley. So I'm pretty knowledgeable about adult schools from, say, Eagle Rock out to Pomona across the 210 corridor. Specifically with the adults, Monrovia Community Adult School, and I am also trying to push this model out to other schools that we work with. I've primarily got this program to talk about today, which is our Building Futures program. And Building Futures is a construction pre-apprenticeship program. It has many partners. We have Habitat for Humanity, San Gabriel Valley Habitat for Humanity, who is one employer. We also have relationships with numerous other employers and with various construction unions in Los Angeles County. And this program is supporting primarily non-English learners. They're native speakers, but we do have supports in place to handle a few English learners as well, using an IELCE model of English language acquisition and civics, and then the actual training program. But what the program does is we also partner with our AJCC partner, and they provide work experience funding during the training, so that the student is in a classroom, works in the classroom. The AJCC provides some amount of work experience hours that allows the students to work on a Habitat for Humanity work site. And then after 10 to 12 weeks, after having received an OSHA 30 certification and a HAZWOPER, various certifications that are useful on a construction site, then we introduce them and help them ease into a union for an apprenticeship program. So it's not a fully sustainable wage while they're in training, but it is some payment to help them while they're working on a work site. And the goal is then to ease them, have them see an overview of a variety of different trades while they're working for Habitat for Humanity, and then ease into one of those trade unions through our relationships. So really excited to be here and share about that program. We have a lot of hope for it coming up in this year. We baited it last year. We had a lot of success with it, and super excited for the 24-25 program year, and also hoping that discussing it will help folks think about any models that might be useful to them in their endeavors.
Super, thanks, John. I'm going to stay with you real quickly. So one of the hardest things that we hear about apprenticeships or pre-apprenticeships, right, is getting that employer engagement. And you've both talked a little bit about that. So John, if you could tell me a little bit about how you identify and engage employers to make your programs work.
Yeah, what I would say is it's an all hands on deck. Our Title I America's Job Center of California AJCC partners, it's their responsibility. They have business service representatives, BSRs, who are supposed to be out in the community interacting with employers, but we don't rely strictly on them. It's an active effort from my staff, my counselor, the teacher. Everybody is working to meet potential employers and try to establish relationships and contacts at unions. So also Habitat for Humanity works with a lot of subcontractors. So those relationships are leveraged. It's really a team effort. There's no silver bullet. It takes a village. And so we do it through the business service representative at the AJCC, my staff and their relationships, Habitat for Humanity. My neighbor is the executive vice president of CSI, which is the largest employer of Local 11 union electricians in the county of Los Angeles. And he's actually put some people into a CW program, which is the initial pre-apprenticeship program to help people get on the way to Local 11. Everybody wants to be in Local 11. It's just a good union, so that pays well. So it's it's an all hands on deck approach.
Thank you. So some formal avenues and then lots and lots of networking. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Michelle, same question to you. How do you identify and engage employers?
I would definitely agree that a majority of our engagement does come from our networking and conversation. The recommendations from industry partners that we have worked with. So we really keep in close contact with our union representatives, have conversations with our local and city chambers, because they're able to provide information out to their members, and we are able to go in and help support them. Just like John mentioned, we also have a great partnership with our AJCC, which is our WorkNet Center. And we are fortunate to have a representative here in our office to support our students and the clients. And so as we're working with apprenticeship programs and the coordinators and the JATCs, We build out that partnership so then that way students are getting the supportive services they need as they're also going through training. So those students, when they're here on campus and they're in the classroom, we can help and support them with also textbooks, specific equipment, safety items as well. So it's helping to support them in regards to the financial aspect, and helping them to continue and overcome any type of financial barriers that they may have. Another area that we do is it is National Apprenticeship Week during the month of November. So we have been annually hosting events for informational sessions. So we're really gathering the community onto our campus and helping them to gain information on the benefits of an apprenticeship program. We're showing them the curriculum that we have to be the local education agency, again, the LEA for them. But most importantly, we're bringing them into our shops, into our classrooms. Again, they're seeing the facilities that we have, the state-of-the-art equipment that the students are training on. So the reputation of our programs is really helping to support, and we really create that, that engagement with them for the benefit of, as they're going through our college, again, they're going to be able to receive the certificate or an associate's degree should that employer decide to follow our academic programs. And that again helps those students as they leave us with that economic mobility to go further into the company, along with the experience that they're receiving from that OJT. So again, we're utilizing that for the engagement and industry to come in and really, promote that apprenticeship program.
Super, thanks, Michelle. I just want to call out a couple things in the chat. Someone had asked us to define the AJC. Those are American Job Centers. They're the one-stops. They are generally your Title I partners, and that's where, like where John was talking about the business services teams. They also provide other supportive and educational services. That's if somebody's going to go and get some of their grants will support incumbent workers back to training. So they offer a lot of opportunities that you as a Title II and CAPE provider can tap into so that you interweave the services that you are able to provide for your students without always you're having to fund them. So that's it's quick. If you aren't familiar with them, definitely as an adult education provider, they're one of your core partners provided for WeOS. So definitely get out to know them. Michelle or John, I don't know if you want to add on to that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would love to weigh in.
Okay.
If you 84906 says we have to do an annual plan and a 3-year plan, and it mentions workforce agency 9 times. So when the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act came in, they decided that these Title I agencies needed to work with a variety of partners. Primarily, one of those partners was Title II agencies to work with literacy and basic education, academic, et cetera. But I think that a lot of times workforce agencies like America's Job Centers of California speak Greek, and adult schools, at least from the K-12 point of view, and I'd say probably at some of the CCD level, speak Latin. And so I really cannot stress enough to utilize that relationship, leverage that relationship. We're just a little old engine that could out here in the San Gabriel Valley, but we'll utilize about $600,000 in Title I fees, one contract at a time, one individualized training agreement at a time. And so it's a tremendous resource for us, but it also is what the state wants us to do, which is to not be siloed. They want us to be interacting with them, and when we're creating our annual plan, and for CAPE funded institutions, that process is starting again anew. And for our two consortia in this region, we do a tremendous amount of collaborating with our HACC partners in formulating our annual plan and the goals in our annual plan. So I just want to reiterate what Blair said. It's something we should be doing by law, but it obviously has its benefits. And for us, those benefits are significant from a financial point of view.
Right. And just to also add on that, there's a lot of funding that's available through the HACCs for our students or for our clients that are going through. They are off of WIOA. They are looking at the same outcomes that we are. And with the apprenticeship program, we also know that that is almost like a guaranteed placement for that employment. So the centers are very happy to get involved with that, especially as they're going through certificate programs, because that's an extra bonus for them. Even for us, we utilize the funding because some of the students are going through other licensures through the state, and that is also being able to be paid for by AJCC. So that's, again, an additional benefit for the students where they're not paying out of pocket. That's funding that's coming through to support them to reach their outcome, to reach their goals, and to become a member into the workforce and have that economic mobility moving forward.
Super, thank you both. Yeah, and I think we can talk more about that in the breakout rooms if people have questions, and you may want to ask some specific questions around that. I want to look at another space of partnerships because again, you've got your employers who are strong partners, but a lot of times you have to have your internal partners. Michelle, you've got the college, different college partners. And then John, I'm sure you have some CBOs as partners. You've already named Habitat. They sort of fall into that employer role, but you also both talked about support services. Who are your other internal or external partners that help you run a full service pre-apprenticeship or apprenticeship program for your adult learners? Michelle?
So we do let our employers and industry members know, of course, they are in the driver's seat. So they are the ones that are letting us know what it is that their needs are and how we're able to support them. So as they're driving it for us, we're taking note, we're seeing what they need. For us being on the college, our internal partners really come working closely with the Department of Industrial Relations, DAS, also working with the Department of Labor. We've got great relationships with them. I'm fortunate that I do have an apprenticeship coordinator, and we also work closely with our campus contracts office because there are a lot of contracts that do have to get signed. We also have partnerships with our fiscal office. We're looking at waiving fees and also contracts for any type of payout in regards to RSI. Our apprenticeships, because of the application going through the college itself and then the enrollment process, we have a connection with our admissions office to help and support, as well as a success coach and resource specialist. So that way those students are getting the wraparound services as they are entering into our program, but also the employers were able to provide them the support they need and helping them provide the reporting as well.
Thanks. John, over to you.
Yes, thanks, Michelle. And Michelle mentioned something that we also take advantage of, our students take advantage of. I'd say I don't know if this is necessarily how you would define it, Blair, but in our ecosystem, I would say our external partners would be employers and unions that we're working to get our students into those positions, employment and apprenticeships. And then internally, it's primarily a partnership between Habitat for Humanity, our school, and all of our staff that is working in this arena, and then the AJCC. And the AJCC, we have a couple different partners, but it's probably going to get solidified with one specific partner, one specific AJCC. And those AJCCs, as Michelle mentioned, can provide wraparound services, support services where our students are not, they're not paying for boots or for tools. And Habitat for Humanity has also worked with the San Gabriel Valley COG, Council of Governments, to get some funding to help with tools, things like that. So internally, I would say, the team that communicates in order to support students and their success is our Habitat for Humanity, our CBO, and then our AJCC and our school. And then all of our efforts are brought together to help students get successful outcomes with our external partners, which are our employers and our unions.
Right.
Well, thanks, John, because yes, go ahead, Michelle.
I'll say this one thing to also add is our apprenticeship programs, they're hosting their meetings, whether it's monthly or quarterly, is making sure that we're also involved and present in those meetings and engaging with conversation. So as an external partner.
Yeah, thank you. That communication, if people have been in some of our other workshops, we talk about planning and communication and engagement as core principles of delivering strong programming. So I appreciate you bringing that up. I am going to ask because, John, you mentioned outcomes, and so one of the things that we always think about when we run programs is what outcomes do you measure and how do you track them? And
Yeah,
John, since you go first.
there's the $64,000 question. It's obviously we track program completion, enrollment completion, certification, and then ideally employment. I mean, that is why we do what we do, and we take uh very seriously that mission. I mean, we work with our Title I partners. They're judged on performance outcomes being employment and also life-sustaining employment. So our goal is to measure how many people enroll and finish and then end up in a job. The difficult piece of that is that we once students finish a program, sometimes they, no matter how much we rattle their cage, how many man hours we spend trying to get an employment verification from them, it's a challenge. And so sometimes they'll go to work and just won't talk to us again. Across all multiple CTE programs that we offer. This program is new, and so it's a little easier to keep track. But we're running job fairs. We have a strong partnership with EDD. I forgot to mention that in order to help people get employed. Working with our AJCC and their relationships too. We have job fairs, but the primary outcome is employment in some kind of life sustaining job, and then we measure that by hook or by crook. It feels like hand-to-hand combat sometimes, just trying to get an employment to get somebody hired, because we present so many opportunities, and it seems like that you get a large percentage of our students that seem to want to pick and choose and don't want to jump into something, or so that barrier is to try to help people to make the decision to go to work. That's a difficult barrier. And if they do, trying to get the information once that they do, is those are the two barriers that we have. But the primary outcome is life-sustaining employment.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. And I think no doubt the follow-up resonates with this audience. Thank you. Michelle?
So for us, we take a look at very similar enrollment and course completion. So we're looking at positive attendance that's coming in and also grades. And then we also take a look at our certificate and associate degree completion. Again, depending upon the apprenticeship, it can be anywhere from 2 to 5 years for that outcome. And then for our metrics, we also take a look at employment within the field of study and, of course, wage increase. For the industry, when they're taking a look at their outcomes and measurements, whether it's a union or an employer, they're looking as well as course completion. So we're providing them transcripts for the students so they can verify on their side. They're verifying their OJT hours for their apprentices. So that helps and allows for their training to be able to move on to the next levels. And then also for their wage increase. So that's a big incentive as well for the students to make sure that they're doing well and they're making their completion with their reporting known on their side as well. Because if they don't meet those OJT hours, then they're not being able to move on to the next step, which can be a good increase for them to help financially in supporting their family.
Super, thank you. Now I have one more question before we move into breakouts. And Michelle, can you just in a couple sentences tell us, what do you think makes your program successful?
Overall, it's going to be that communication and networking and building that relationship with your local industry, with your unions, and being able to communicate what we have as far as the benefits and moving forward. Again, having them come in and visit our campus, seeing the training facilities, seeing the accreditation that's here through the college, and then also being able to provide, we do have funding to help and continue to support as we receive funding down through the Chancellor's Office for the apprenticeship programs, and then our partnerships that we have, again, including such as AJCC on campus.
Thanks, John. Same question.
Sure. I would say it's pretty simple. Is the industry partners that we have, employers and unions, getting trained quality employees, and are the job seekers that need skills getting the skills that lead to sustainable employment. It's really simple. So that's that's how we're measuring success. Is, are we connecting people who need employees that are skilled and upskilling employees to meet those needs, so that we are the conduit there.
Super, thanks very much. All right, let's go to the next slide just so I can recap. Thank you, Michelle and John. Your full room grilling is going to move into breakout rooms. We're going to do 2 rounds of breakout rooms. They're going to be roughly 10 to 12 minutes, depending on how long it takes to move into those. And so Michelle will be moving into a room 1, and John will be moving into room 2. And then everyone else will be put randomly into each room. And then after 10 minutes, Michelle will go to room 2 and John will go to room 1, so that everyone gets to hear a little bit more and ask your questions about each of the programs.
So Blair, you might need to help me out. When I click on breakout rooms, it says, do I create a room? But I know I don't want to do that.
No, I'm
Nope,
going to go
I
ahead
think
and make it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't gotten the rooms created yet.
No,
Right.
K-Tap is helping us in 1 second.
Okay, thank you. All right, appreciate that.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open the rooms.
And I'm going to 2, is that correct?
You are right, yes.
And you should be able to choose to go into 2, John, if you get a message.
Thank you.
Michelle, you should be able to. And then Blair and Margaret, if you wanted to join one.
Yeah, I'm going to join 2.
Yep.
Okay, we have resumed recording.
Welcome back, everyone. We are really bumping up against the end of the hour, and we typically take a minute or 2 to share any learnings. But I also wanted just to make a quick note that we are running another session like this for IETs on Thursday, if anybody wants to join that as well, and if you haven't registered. And maybe if the registration link could be popped in the chat, that would be super. Thank you, Holly.
Right. And Blair, we had really rich discussion in our room, for quick summary. People were really interested in learning how to establish and kind of maintain relationships with different partners, with intermediary groups, to kind of really bring forward opportunities for students. Also, how to work across partners in a consortium manner. That's something people are looking at. So we really did not talk about challenges as much as we shared tips of the trade, if you will. Blair, I don't know if you have a parting word for your room. Other than that, I will give our big thanks.
We did a range of things, from how do you get follow-up with students once they leave your program, how do you work with and who sponsors your program, are you registered with the DAS, which is the Department of Apprenticeship Standards, and a host of things that really indicate about the value of creating pre-apprenticeships and apprenticeships, even if they are a little bit tricky.
Great. And with that, we really extend our thanks to everybody here on the call, to both Michelle and John, our panelists, and also to SCOE TAP, CAPE, and CDE for supporting everything we do. Blair mentioned we do have another webinar and workshop series happening on IET. That is going to be on Thursday. We will hear from Visalia Adult School. We'll hear from Norocco and also LA Regional Adult Ed Consortium. We do have an evaluation at the end of these webinars. We please ask you to fill that out. I know Holly's going to post that chat to everybody. We love to learn from you as we go forward to see what's valuable. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're here, we're available. If you have more questions for Michelle and John, we can pass those along too. Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you.
Okay, and I will close us out. Thank you so much, Lisa, Blair, John, and Michelle. And thank you to all of our attendees for spending time with us this morning. The evaluation has been posted in the chat. Please take a moment to provide feedback on today's session, as it does inform how we plan our future webinars. Today's session was recorded, and we will make it available once it's fully remediated. We will email everyone once it's posted on the website and available for viewing. So you've got the evaluation. You also have the information about Thursday's session, but we also wanted to highlight that we have the call for summit proposals is open through the 30th. So please, if you wanted to consider presenting at the Cape Summit this fall in October, please take a look at that. And then we also have a link to some upcoming events. So thank you for being with us this morning. I hope to see many of you on Thursday, and have a great afternoon. We'll see you all soon.